Vegeta is a lot of people's favorite character, and on this edition of the Strongest in Dragon Ball series, where I look at the strongest characters in Dragon Ball and their most powerful forms, we're going to go in depth on Vegeta's most powerful version of himself, Blue Evolution, and discuss the properties behind it, how it worked, and why it's so important in Dragon Ball Super. Let's get to it.
I, Vegeta, the Prince of all Saiyans, orders you to subscribe and follow Geekdom 101 on these social media platforms.
If you go back and you examine the history of Goku and Vegeta's relationship, you know that Vegeta has always been trying to keep up with Kakarot. Vegeta saw Goku as a lower class warrior compared to him being a super elite, and could not believe during their first fight on Earth that Goku was able to get so powerful and to match him blow for blow. And as the series progressed, we saw Vegeta always trying to catch up to Goku with each subsequent power-up and transformation. And even up until the Buu arc, Vegeta had a lot of resentment and a lot of disdain for Goku. But even after the Buu saga ended and we go into the Dragon Ball Super timeline of events, Vegeta still wanted to at least keep up with Goku and surpass him, but it wasn't really malicious. It was more so for his own personal competitiveness. Now, I dropped a video back in January of last year called Limit Breaker Vegeta Deconstructed, which I will leave a link to at the end of this video for you all to check out, because it shows Vegeta and discusses in depth how Vegeta sort of chose to go his own path. And that's really the big secret behind Super Saiyan Blue Evolution. Now, this transformation has a lot of different names. Super Saiyan God, Super Saiyan Evolved. Some call it Shinka, some call it Blue Evolution. It's essentially the most powerful, upgraded state of Super Saiyan Blue. Now, we found out shortly after Super ended that this transformation was an anime exclusive form. There was no Toriyama original draft made up for this form, but there was one by Tadayoshi Yamamura, who was the anime character designer, and so he created this transformation for the Dragon Ball Super anime. However, the manga has something somewhat similar to this, but not exactly the same. In the battle with Toppo in the manga, Vegeta was able to surpass his limits as Super Saiyan Blue and tapped into a power that really hasn't been given an official name yet, but it resembles Kaioken, but it's not quite Kaioken, but some could call it Super Saiyan God, Super Saiyan Evolved, even though it's not quite the same, because the anime version, Vegeta got really buff and the explanation behind it was different, but the manga version is still sort of like Vegeta's way of getting to a higher powered state. Now, one of the things I love about this as a fan of Dragon Ball is the fact that Vegeta, when he saw Goku tap into Ultra Instinct for the first time, was stunned at the amazing power he was able to get. But Vegeta chose not to even go that route. He wanted to get Ultra Instinct. He would love to get Ultra Instinct, but he chose to go his own way. And instead, by breaking his limits and focusing on what drives him to fight, which is his own pride, not just for himself, but also for his race, for his wife, for his children, and even for Goku, he was able to achieve this Blue Evolution form. In fact, the Grand Priest himself states that Vegeta was able to break his own limits just like Goku. That does not mean this form is as strong as Ultra Instinct, but it's just another direction, a different sort of method of attaining power. And I personally love that, because the idea of Vegeta always chasing after Goku, trying to get Super Saiyan forms 1, 2, God, Blue, SS4, and GT, the fact that Vegeta can have his own power separate and different from Ultra Instinct, I think is a good thing. Now, speaking of the manga, there is something that I want to quickly debunk here, and that's the image you see on your screen right now. There was an image that popped up that explained the different versions of Super Saiyan God, Super Saiyan Blue. And it describes the base version, I guess you can say, as the initial SSGSS. Then there's an advanced version, and then there's a mastered version. Now, this information I feel is relatively accurate. I would say that this is for sure a good, very well thought out theory, and one that I think fits for the manga version of Evolved Vegeta, or whatever you want to call it. But this is not from Toyotaro. Some people were saying that this was a Toyotaro bonus page in the manga, but that is incorrect, and even Herms himself debunked that. This was fan made. This is not from Toyotaro, so not an official source, but it is a well thought out sort of theory, and I'm going to give it some credence here, at least for the initial and the mastered SSGSS. I think advanced is just Vegeta getting stronger. I don't think that this version of, quote, advanced SSGSS is even real, but I do think that the idea behind this makes sense. So whether you're looking at the manga or the anime, Vegeta found a way to enhance and upgrade Super Saiyan Blue, and that is Blue Evolution. Now, we did not see Blue Evolution in Dragon Ball Super Broly, and that's presumably because of the fact that Toriyama wrote the script and submitted it to Toei back in February of 2017, presumably before the anime staff had come up with this transformation. So in the original Toriyama script, it doesn't exist, and for all intents and purposes, some have said it's non-canon, but it's difficult to really say that because it is in the anime. It just wasn't a Toriyama idea. So again, the manga has a form that mirrors it. So I don't really want to discuss canon because there's no point in that. But with that being said, that's probably why we did not see it in Dragon Ball Super Broly. No, the first time that we actually saw Vegeta in this form was a teaser that was given to us during the credits. One of the end credit sequences showed Goku in Ultra Instinct Omen and then showed Vegeta in his Blue Evolution form. But when we first saw this, we had no idea what it was. It was just Vegeta with like spikier hair and a more of a royal blue color. Many of us just thought it was just a creative way of making him look more strong and blue. But no, it actually turned out to be a separate transformation. Vegeta had an emotional moment during the Tournament of Power where he reminisced on Kaba in Universe 6 and was in need of more power to battle Universe 11, and thus he was able to break his limits just like Goku did with his own pride and his own love for his race and his family, like I mentioned earlier, and he tapped into this new form, breaking his own shell. Now, at the time, many of us were not sure how strong this new form was and how much of a power-up Vegeta got, but later on, one of the directors of Dragon Ball Super from episode 131, Megumi Ishitani, discussed that SSB Evolution was not only an anime original, but also on par and equal to Goku's Kaioken Blue times 20. Now, what's interesting about this form is that aesthetically and conceptually, it really resembles Vegeta's Dragon Ball Z Super Saiyan Grade 2 transformation, which is commonly known as Ascended Saiyan, but that's a incorrect dub term that should not be used. It's officially called Super Saiyan Grade 2, which is Vegeta's form that he used against second form Cell, where he got really buff, but not quite as buff as Trunks. Vegeta's muscle mass got bigger, his overall height and size got bigger, and his hair got thicker. And that's kind of what Blue Evolution is, except for that the hair actually changed a little bit in the way the blue was shaded. That was different, but also Vegeta got an incredible boost in power, but not just strength, but also agility, stamina, speed. And he also appeared to have gotten sort of, not necessarily healed, but he definitely was re-motivated to fight. It was almost like he got a second win when he got this form. And him and Goku took it to Jiren for quite some time as best they could. Also with this transformation, Vegeta appears to have a lot more control over his body as he was able to transform into this power at will. Unlike Ultra Instinct, where Goku wasn't really sure how to attain it or how to get to it. So many people asked at the end of Dragon Ball Super, if Goku and Vegeta fought and Goku could not use Ultra Instinct, would Vegeta win? And I feel the answer is yes. I do feel that Goku without Ultra Instinct and just having Kaioken times 20 blue probably would not defeat Vegeta, because we know that Kaioken really burns out your body, and there doesn't seem to be any sort of drawback to using Blue Evolution. When you look back at the final few episodes of the Universal Survival arc, you really see the incredible feats that Vegeta was able to achieve with SSB Evolution. Case in point, his main rival was, of course, Toppo, who had achieved the power of a God of Destruction. I covered God of Destruction Toppo on the previous edition of The Strongest in Dragon Ball, so check that video out as well when you finish this one. So Vegeta was able to, with this power, battle against God of Destruction Toppo, who I think could probably be considered a lower level God of Destruction. I don't see him on the level of Beerus or Champa or any of those guys, but I do see him being very, very strong. And even with that being said, Vegeta was able to battle Hakai energy that Toppo was using. And that to me was a very impressive feat that Golden Frieza and Android 17 and others just could not do. And we're talking about true Golden Frieza. He was no match for Toppo. Vegeta was his match. And not just his match, Vegeta was able to defeat Toppo and eliminate him from the tournament. Basically what happened was Vegeta used the move he used against Majin Buu where he blew himself up, the final explosion. But instead of Vegeta dying, because of the incredible durability of this form, he was able to survive the explosion. Even though he was totally beaten up, he was still able to survive the final explosion and eliminate God of Destruction Toppo. So in this form, Vegeta has surpassed lower level God of Destruction tier characters. And to me, that is extremely impressive. Is it quite on the level of Jiren or Ultra Instinct Mastered Goku? Probably not, but the fact that Vegeta can probably still train in this transformation and make it stronger and stronger and stronger, even though it may not have the incredible abilities that Ultra Instinct has, it might end up being more useful. And it's interesting because in the manga version, when Vegeta was able to surpass his limitations, Whis even states that he was not suited for Ultra Instinct because it's not in his nature. It's not the way Vegeta is. Just like in the anime, Vegeta realized that, much like Frank Sinatra told us, he had to do it his way. And Vegeta did it his way. And we saw him use the form against Mortal. So presumably, this is not the end of Blue Evolution Vegeta. Either way, this transformation, no matter which name you might use to describe the form, it is Vegeta's ultimate power as of right now in the Dragon Ball Super original 131 episodes and in the Dragon Ball story overall. Thank you so much for watching the video. And if you enjoyed this video and this look at the strongest version of Vegeta, check out these videos. I think you'll enjoy them as well. Have a nice one.